Hi Fox, welcome to our channel. We publish all kind of videos from an atom to the stars. To stay up to date with our latest videos, please make sure to subscribe to this channel. So recently, I have got some request from IT support guys for making a video about the potential effects of sharing the HAR file, that is HAR file from the browser to someone you are aware or not aware of. And I have also seen some news about the HAR file scam, where imposters pretending to be calling from some sort of government agencies or some software companies or some third-party organization pretend and showcase as if they are trying to help you in troubleshooting with your website issues. So, is it safe to share or export HAR file from the browser? Um, and this video would give you an answer for this. So let me also, show you why you should be very careful when you share the HAR file to a third party or a fraudulent imposter. So let's get started. First of all, what is a HAR file? So the HAR file or the HTTP archive format is a JSON formatted archive file format for logging of a website browser interaction with a site. So when you export a HAR file, its extension would be as .har or .har. So this is basically used for tracking information between a web browser and a website. HAR file is primarily used for identifying performance-related issues like the slow load times or the performance bottlenecks and even the page rendering problems. The HAR files keeps track of each resources loaded by a browser along with the timing information for each resource. And as I mentioned earlier, this is majorly used for troubleshooting the performance issues like slow page load, timeout when performing certain tasks, and page rendering like incorrect page format or missing information. And the information will be represented in this archival format, which includes both information about the web pages themselves, like the size of individual resources on a page, as well as the performance data. So, depending upon the browser which you use, there are few ways to generate the HAR file. So, let me do one thing. Let me start with the Edge browser. So, as I mentioned, there are different ways. One way is right click and click on the inspect, or you can go via the hotkeys Control Shift and I. Or another way is you can go to your menu and here you will find the more tools, and you could find the developer tools. So basically, to generate a HAR file, you need to have developer tools open. So let me open the developer tool. Okay, and click on the network. The first thing I should ensure is that the record button that is used to save all your request and response details, in the browser. So that should be in the red color. So if you just uncheck, it would turn black or gray. So you just need to ensure the record button should be turned on. So I have turned it on. And the second thing would be preserving the logs. So I should preserve all the logs. So whenever I traverse between the web pages or for a particular website, I should preserve all the logs. So I can checkbox it. So you need to ensure these two things are, configs are made. And now what you can simply do is www dot an example amazon.in. Now, if you see, the Amazon page is loaded and you could see all the requests uh, that are getting loaded for each different resources for that particular website. If you notice, you could see a button that can be used to export the har content. So what you need to do is click on this button. Either you could use this button or simply right click one of the request and save all as har with content. So you could do either of these methods. So let me save this har file. Yeah, you could see I can download and the extension is har. I have just saved it. Now let me do one thing. So this is for the Edge browser. Let me go to um, Firefox. It's almost same way. Right click, either inspect, or you could use the menu, more tools, and here you will be seeing web developer tools. So I have opened the web developer tools, and what I can simply do is I can rerun. Oh, I need to ensure that the logs are persisted. Okay, so that is checkboxed. Now I could run the request, or I could hit the particular website which I'm troubleshooting or which I'm using. Just hit the website. You could see all the request and whatever response you have got, all the details, along with all the initiator details and what is the exact objects or files that are being used. Okay, so now you could either now you could what you could do is you could go here and save all as har. You could click on this. Now you have downloaded the har file. Okay, so and in Chrome it's almost the same way. Right click, inspect, either right click the inspect button, or you could go via more tools, developer tools, or Control Shift I, so whichever is suitable for you. So click on the networks, ensure that the you know recording button is turned on and not off, and ensure that the preserve logs, that is checkboxed. Now whatever request you wanted to queue in your browser, you could do that. So I have just hit on amazon.com, all the requests and response that are getting loaded. Okay, so I could right click, save all as har with content. So this is one way, or another way is, sorry, should be it should be this export har file. So these are the different ways how you could generate har file from your browser. So now let me do one thing. Let me change the settings and dock it to the bottom. So okay, so my developer tools are now at the bottom. So now what I'm going to do is, um, earlier I have exported the har file. So I have downloaded the har file. So if you could see, these are the recent har files which I have downloaded from each browsers. So what does these files contain? So we mentioned it's an archived HTTP archive. It has the data. So what all data would be there? So this is stored in a JSON format, which means in order to visualize the information, you need to have some tools called as a har viewer or something like that. So inside the har file, there will be several timing components, the header details, the request header response, other details would be there, and it will also have the major informations like the stalled and blocking. That is nothing but the time the request spent waiting before it could be sent actually. Okay, and it will have the time spent for the proxy negotiation. That is nothing but with the proxy server connection, and it will also have the details of the time spent performing the DNS lookup, and it will again have the details about the time it took to establish a connection, that is nothing but the initial connection or connecting. And it will also have the details of the time spent completing an SSL handshake. And one major information it would have will be the TTFB, that is the time spent waiting for the initial response uh, from the destination or the origin server. Okay, so and where does these information you can find in the website request? You could see all the request uh, response headers. These all will be available in the har file. And the timing part which I have mentioned, the stalled or the blocking connection, the time taken or the time spent for waiting it to be, it was waiting the request to be sent, that would be mentioned here. Or the DNS, the time taken for the DNS lookup, the time taken for the initial connection, SSL, and for downloading the content. Okay, the time spent receiving the response data, and the TTFB, that is the time to first byte. Okay, this will be the time spent waiting for the initial response from the origin server. So you could see that it was waiting around 361 milliseconds. Okay, so the HAR files contain all this information that could be used for troubleshooting your website issues. So you could share this to someone who would be a third-party vendor or support team who would be actually troubleshooting. They would be asking you to share the HAR file so that they can load the same thing in their browser. I'll show you how to do that. So let me open a new tab. I'm just clicking on insert. The developer tools is loaded. Click on network. Now what I'll do is I'll import the har file. You can see an option to import a har file. That means I can import a har file shared by someone so that I could actually troubleshoot what is the exact issue he has got, what was there in the request headers, response headers, and what was the time taken for the request for each endpoints. Okay, so click on import. I'll try importing the Amazon. So you could see it's the same thing, whatever I would have done in this page during the export. So all the request and response details would be stored here. I could import it here, and I could troubleshoot. Okay, what happened for this call? So this was a 200 response, and what was the time taken? And see, the time to first byte, it is 121 milliseconds. So in case if I'm troubleshooting a website, potential website performance issues, and I notice, okay, one of the requests is taking more than maybe 5 seconds or 10 seconds, I would tell them, okay, so there must be a problem with your origin or your destination server. So the time spent waiting for the initial response is pretty high. So these are the data that would be available in a har file, which is exported from the browser. And I mentioned that there are different ways of visualizing the har file, isn't it? So one way is to import the har file, which we have got it from someone, and another way is using a haranalyzer tool. So what I could do is, let me use, so this is a site, this is the Google haranalyzer tool that can be actually used to see analyze the har file that is being exported. So I could just simply choose the har file, and you could see, and you could troubleshoot that. See, I could actually see the entire, let me click on enter entries. So each response and what is the time taken, I could actually basically dig deeper into each request and see what exactly had happened. See, It has all the details of request response, response content, and the cookie details that have been passed. Okay, and the timings. Okay, so this is another way to visualize the har file. Okay, so you can use the haranalyzer from Google. You can simply upload the har file. Okay, so this is one way, and another way you could use is via importing the har file. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, what I'm going to mention is that these har files, have the sensitive data, isn't it? So, for example, let me take an example where I'm entering some sensitive data. Okay, so let me clear all the requests. So I'm just starting afresh. Okay, let me click on new customer. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm recording it, recording all the network logs, and I'm preserving all the logs. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter some sensitive information. Okay, so I'm going to give Christopher Nolan. Okay, and let me give Christopher Nolan at unknown.com. Okay, so some fake email ID, and I'm giving some password. So I'm a big fan of Interstellar, so let me give Interstellar as the password. Interstellar. Okay, so now I'm trying to create an Amazon account. Okay, so just consider I have just clicked on the submit button, which is nothing but a post request. Okay, so now let me download the har file of this. Okay, so consider I am being called by an imposter pretending that they wanted to help me in fixing an issue with my browser or an application which I'm using, or a website which I'm facing frequent performance issues. So they asked me to share my har file of the entire journey which I'm trying to do. Consider I'm giving this. Okay, so I just saved it. Okay, I'm opening the har file. Okay, and choose the file. Let me close this. Okay, let me choose the file, Amazon har file. Let me close the developer tool. So if you see that this is the latest one which I have exported for the new customer which I have created in Amazon site. Okay, so what I wanted to do is if you remember, it was a post request. When I do the submit button, when I click on it, it is basically a post request. So I have entered some information, and let me see. Let me search actually for the email ID which I have given, Christopher. So if I mentioned there is a slash API register call for the Amazon. This is a post request, and this is where I have given my email ID. Again, it's a sensitive information, isn't it? And remember, I have given a password named Interstellar, right? So if you scroll down into the post data, you could actually see the name, the customer name, and the email ID I have given. So this is a very sensitive information, isn't it? So you need to be very careful when you share your har file because it contains sensitive data. It could be, the content of the page you downloaded. It could be the cookies, which would allow anyone with a har file to impersonate your account, and all the information that you have submitted during the journey. So could be your email ID, your personal name, and your passwords or your credit cards, that would actually be stored in the har file which you share to them. So the imposter or the person whom you share can actually reuse them and hack your account, use your personal information for some other purpose. So you could also, see the password. I believe I have given Interstellar. Let me search. It's the same request. So in most probably it would be there in the post body. Post data. Ah, it's there. So the password. So this is why I was telling you could share the har file, but ensure the har file you are sharing should not have any sensitive data, and you have to be very careful in while sending the har file to someone whom you are not aware of. I hope this video was very much helpful for you guys, and thanks for watching this video, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on the bell icon to receive informative and interesting videos like this. Thank you. Have a great day.